interrupt your program to bring you this important podcast. How to 911.
Can you put me out of service on a podcast, please?
Welcome back to How to 911. We have a special guest. I'm gonna let her introduce herself in just a second. I'm Sami.
America.
And
I'm Macie.
Yeah. She is gonna speak for herself.
I'm the police. Just kidding. I'm Officer Macie Helgenberger. I've been here for a year and a half with Loveland, and I'm a patrol officer.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. I don't believe Erica sent you any questions, did she?
Yeah.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Okay, because I was like, hopefully that we understand what's going to happen, because I forget the questions that we created.
Sure.
So, tell us about, why are you here in Loveland?
So I went to college at CSU, so I started in Fort Collins and then ended up moving here to work at Summit Stone, which is like a community mental health substance abuse clinic. I have a psych degree, so that made sense, and so I moved to Loveland for that, pretty much. And then I liked the area, but I didn't want the college part of it, which I'm thankful for because we don't get that now here.
Right.
Being a cop in Fort Collins would be a lot different than it would here.
Yeah. So, what did you do before this?
So I coordinated intakes for Summit Stone. So when people would come in and needed mental health services, groups, substance abuse services, they would come to me, and then I would set up an intake for them, get them off to a counselor who would do that intake, and then I would schedule all of their programming.
Okay. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was okay. It was a lot of the same crowd, so I know a lot of people now, and then it's been helpful working with the mental health units that we have here, because they're from Summit Stone, and I worked with them before, so I liked it. It didn't pay as well as this, and I cannot work in an office.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah. So why law enforcement?
Yeah, it's what made the jump?
So after college, I joined the Army, just as a reservist, because they have a program to pay off your student loans. So I really enjoyed that. I didn't know if I would, but going through that process, I realized I enjoyed a lot of the tactical aspects and the structure. And so being a police officer kind of gives me the ability to use those skills, and then combines it with what I did at Summit Stone and lets me work in the community that I live in. So it was just a perfect storm of all the things I wanted to do. So
excuse the train. How rude. So you've only been here for a year and a half? I say only. I'm sorry. That's rude
You're
of me.
fine. No.
You're like a baby officer?
I'm such a baby
I've
officer.
only been here a year, so we're both babies
Daily,
together.
I'm like, well, I'll just go.
So what is the process from where you started and where you are now? How was that for you?
So I was a recruit that they sponsored to go to the academy. So in 2018, I tested and went through the hiring process, conditional officer offer. And in January of last year, I started at the academy with Aaron Barry. Okay. So then we went through that, graduated, and then started the FTO process.
Nice. Gotcha. Yeah. What's your favorite part about being an officer?
I think the people that we work with in this building.
Okay. So specific. Started so broad and very slowly narrowed.
No, all the officers here are so nice and supportive, and it's just a really good work environment for a hard job. If it was anybody else, and if it wasn't as good as we have it here, it would make doing the job a lot harder. So that's my favorite part.
And least favorite?
Oh, car crashes.
Oh.
I hate them.
Wow.
Don't send me to any.
Okay.
Just kidding.
From now on, I'm just going to be like, 235.
235, you're good to go.
Why is that?
I don't know. I've been in one accident in my whole life, and it was on the job here.
Oh.
And so I just don't don't know. I just don't like them.
Yeah, okay.
I don't really have a reason. I just
Clarifies everything for us.
Perfect. Yeah. I just don't
Still
like
clear.
it.
I don't know. I don't like that, and I don't like fraud calls. Yeah. Other than that, everything's
good.
Yeah, everything's good.
Perfect.
Easy.
Yeah.
What would you say? I'm totally freelancing questions.
You're fine.
Sorry.
No, you're totally fine.
What would you say your favorite part about being in training was then, since it's so fresh?
Being on day shift and not being on night shift.
Why is that?
Oh my gosh, I just don't do well overnight. Like, I do super well with a normal sleep schedule, and trying to like sleep during the day and be like productive at night was super hard for me.
Yeah.
Which is silly because Army, it's not like you ever sleep, but
Right.
yeah. So that, and I thought it was cool the way that they do it here, where you're with different officers for different phases, so you learn different ways. You know, there's 500 ways to skin a cat, and so you learn all these different. You've never heard that?
I have.
Okay. There's a bunch of different ways to like get the job done, and you learn all these different ways instead of being stuck on one path.
Yeah.
So
Also, don't skin cats
Yeah,
please
please
don't
don't
do
do that.
and adopt your
I'll
local
come.
shelter. Yeah.
Officer Helgenberger will have to investigate.
that. Don't want to do
finds skinned
that.
cats.
Don't want to do that. I would be sad.
Yes. That's why
You would be
we're
sad.
both like, I love cats.
I'm a dog person, but I don't like skinned cats either.
Right.
So.
I think skinned anything is just off the table.
Nothing.
Anyways, focus. So, wait, did you answer least favorite or favorite part of training?
Least favorite car accidents.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry. I'm
You're good.
not focused, apparently.
Totally fine.
What is your favorite thing about dispatch?
You guys are like God. Literally. You're like this voice that's like telling me where I need to go and who's there and what I need to do.
I love it.
Yeah. You hold a lot more power than I think you think that you know.
Hopefully it's just assistance, not power. So.
Well, yeah, but like, you tell us where to go. Like, the other day, I don't know if either of you were there. I got into this bad habit of putting the address I was going to in my phone. So it just navs me there, and it gets me there every time, except this one time where I was supposed to go to like the 1400 block of something, and it took me to like the 800 block.
Yeah.
Was that you?
No, I mean, I was there. Yeah.
And somebody up there was like, super nice about it. Like, it's the other one by this school. I'm like, whoa. I like passed other officers that were going to that call, and I'm like, they're going the wrong way.
That's so funny.
We were all just like looking on the map, like, wait, hold on a second. Maybe she's turning around. No,
Just wait, yeah.
no, someone else is passing her. Oh, no,
It
still
was-
going that way.
So
It was
funny.
Wagner. She's like, hey.
Hey there.
So yeah, you guys help us way more than I think you realize. We are so appreciative.
That's good. What is something that you think that dispatch can work on?
The only thing, sometimes like, it's so hard to read things like priors, read things like if there's a name and a date of birth but they haven't been ran, like I can't, when I'm driving, it's
Right.
super hard for me to look at that and be safe and like get all the info. So it's super helpful, especially on hot calls when pretty much everything is aired.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you guys are phenomenal.
Cool.
Nice. So, when you're in the uniform, I'm assuming everyone treats you the same. Just because you're a woman doesn't make it any different, right?
I've been called a lady cop.
Ah, different from just cop.
Yeah, there's a lady cop here at the door. Like,
I'm just. That's
I don't know why that makes it. Yeah. And then like on traffic stops, people, I think, don't want to yell at women when they get pulled over as much. So I think I get a lot less back talk on traffic stops than some of the male officers do. I don't that may or may not be true, but I've had pretty much all positive experiences on traffic stops when I'm giving like pretty big tickets sometimes, and they're like, "Thanks, sweetheart," and I'm like, "Okay."
Oh. Also, don't call me
Welcome.
that.
Also,
officer's good.
Yeah. But like around here, no, you're treated totally the same, which is awesome.
That's good.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing too different.
No,
Good.
they expect the exact same from women, men across the board.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want the public to know about what you do and about the Loveland Police Department?
I think it's important for people to know that Loveland specifically is an accredited department, which means you get, I think it's like 10% of departments across the country have the accreditation that we do. And so our standards are way up here where the normal standard for a department is down here. So people don't realize that we get more training, we get more funding for training, we get all these resources because we go through the process to be accredited. So we're held to a lot higher standard than a lot of cops are. So I think that's important. I think it's important to know that, like, the bottom line, our goal is to treat everybody with immense respect. Even on like pretty big calls that kind of go sideways, you'll hear officers on body cams calling the person sir, you know, being nice and being human to human nice. And I think that's important to know that we take that really seriously here. So. And also we're people. We're humans. Like, I live across from an elementary school, and I get the weirdest looks when I go out to my car, like to my patrol car, in like shorts and a t-shirt. It's the weirdest. Like, kids, they'll stop off their bikes and they're like, "What is she doing in there?" And I'm like, "That I drive this. Like,
This is my car.
yeah, I don't sleep in this. That'd be really uncomfortable." So,
Yeah, no thank you.
yeah. So, yeah.
So, do you have any directions that you want to go with your career at LPD?
So right now I'm pretty focused on just getting good at patrol. Like I said, what you hear when you're in the academy is that it takes like 3 to 5 years to feel comfortable. And I totally get that because I'm uncomfortable every day on certain calls. Like, yeah, like sometimes you can have all the training in the world, but every single call is different,
Right.
you know, in this way. And so it's a lot of problem solving and it takes a lot of experience. So I'm trying to, before I branch out, I want to get really good at this. I'm thinking about negotiations maybe, because that's similar to what I do in the Army. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you find it helpful? I don't know if there's really a lot of these calls during the day so much, but like mental health calls, do you find yourself like more interested to going to those versus other calls since you have prior experience? No?
No, I don't want to go to those calls.
No? Why?
I like going to the, I don't know, because I feel like I'm not in that role anymore. So I feel like it's not appropriate for me to bring that into it and try and be like that professional. Especially when we have like Jesse and Sue who come on those. I like them when they come because it kind of takes the heat off of us, because 9 times out of 10 you'll get somebody who's like, "You're just a cop, why do you think you can tell me to go get therapy? You can tell me to go on, you know, a mental health hold." And so I don't know, it's just a different role, so I don't really feel drawn to those as much.
Maybe if you're able to explain a little bit of like how those calls look, because I don't think the public really understands like what Jesse and Sue do for our department.
Right, so Jesse and Sue are both licensed counselors. They both have a little bit different credentials, I believe. They did when I was back at Summit Stone, but they both will basically come to these mental health calls where somebody is like, might be contemplating suicide, might be having an episode where they're breaking things or yelling, hallucinating, all these different factors, and they'll come in after we determine they're not at risk of any kind of harm. They'll come in and basically have a counseling session with these people. And most of the time, they get them so calm that we can leave and go take other calls. So they're a huge help to us because they take that load off of us, because we're not professionals in that, and so
Right.
it's a really good relationship we have with them, and it's really helpful. And it gives the people that are having these bad days, mental health wise, it gives them tools and resources that officers might not have,
Right.
and options that, you know, Jesse could get this person into this clinic, whereas I can just take them to the hospital.
Right.
Right, so it gives them more, which is nice.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I know there's like a little bit of a push for like more mental health resources, especially for responding out to mental health calls. How does that work with when the call comes into us? Most of the time on 911, most of the time the people are violent or not cooperative.
Right.
So how do you feel about that situation? Because it's like they don't want officers to respond, they just want the mental health services.
Right.
How does that work when somebody is not cooperative and or might have a weapon?
So, having more mental health, like having a full-time mental health unit, we would all love that. And it would be helpful. What they can do is they can stage away from wherever the incident's happening. And we're all good enough and we're trained in de-escalation enough to where even if they don't want to see us, we can get them to a point where we can determine if they do have weapons, we can take those away, we can get them to a point where Jesse or Sue can come in. So violent or screaming or whatever is happening, we're 9 times out of 10, if there's a mental health unit available, we can get the person down to a point where they can utilize them, and if not, then we can take them to the hospital and they can talk to them there. Like, we can make it happen.
Right.
So having more mental health resources would be a huge plus here.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too because I worked at a different agency before this, and there wasn't. They didn't have a Jesse or a Sue.
Right.
So it was all just the officers.
Yeah.
So when I came here and I learned about this other resource that we had, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I just think that it's
Complicated.
complicated with budgets and jurisdictions and stuff like that, being able to have those resources, and I hope that people can understand that it's not as easy as it sounds.
And we have a pretty innovative program here compared to a lot of agencies, at least in Colorado, and even then we only have 3 total, and they can only be so many hours. They're not 24/7. They can only do so much. So yeah.
Work in progress.
For sure.
Yeah.
But a really good step.
Right.
For sure.
Definitely good for us.
Nice.
What else do you want to talk about, Macie?
Anything. What do you guys want to talk about?
Gosh, I can't keep coming up with questions.
You can?
I know.
Oh, I thought you said you
I said I can't.
I was like, yeah, let's hear them.
Okay, I have dispatcher questions.
Oh, yes! Oh my gosh, you're the first one.
So
Let's
excited.
go.
Do you guys judge us when you see where we're at? and what it calls for?
100%. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Like,
That's what Allie said too. She's like, oh yeah, we watch. I'm like,
Oh.
shit.
Wow.
I mean, we notice. Our job is to
Yeah.
notice. Like, if it happens to be that you're at your house at the same time every day, it's like, oh, it's time to be at your house. Or it's maybe you need some time away from the police department for a little bit.
Yeah.
Or maybe like you can tell your favorite lunch spot, or
Unfortunately. No, I don't think so.
Never.
No, I don't think
No,
so.
I-
I think I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. They're back at Panda
Judge
Express.
myself.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Oh.
I patrol at Walmart.
Yeah, right. No, you're going to the bathroom or something. No, I think, unfortunately, like Erica and I have talked about this before on the podcast, our short-term memory is like so
Right.
weird.
You guys have so
Yeah,
much
it's so
more
short.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
to
like,
process.
I'm constantly like looking at this map, trying to memorize where everybody is at all times.
Yeah.
And it's like trying to remember like, oh, Macie was doing this before, but now she's doing this, and like, does it relate to this new call that's coming in?
Right.
So we're always trying to like put things together.
Yeah.
And yeah, we do notice like patterns of like certain officers like to patrol certain areas all the time and
Yeah.
like stuff like that. So
I
it's
do all of my traffic on North Wilson.
yeah. So
All
it's
of it.
yeah, we do pick up on the, like those little patterns. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. It's weird, but I don't judge you for it.
No.
I mean, I might
do
just
that.
make little comments like, maybe you shouldn't eat pandas so much, but...
Right, yeah.
Hey.
No, not you. I'm just like, I don't know why I picked Panda Express.
I was like, does she like it?
I do. It just sometimes I don't feel good after. So.
Not a good thing to eat while on duty.
Yeah.
No.
It's a day off.
Yes.
Lunch, yeah.
Yes. What else did I have? I had another question.
Don't worry, I'll edit this out.
Yeah.
Any like weird...
Take as much time as you need. We're ready.
Oh man, I had a lot. That was a big one. I really wanted to. Do you guys read our notes that we put in there?
Oh, I love to.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing.
After being here for so many years, I'm like,
Yeah.
like after a while, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't need to read it. But if there's something where it's specifically like a welfare check or something that I just want to follow up on, yeah, I will definitely go back in and see what you guys write.
And if you don't put any notes, then just know in my head I'm throwing daggers through the screen because I'm
That's
like,
when-
I wanted to know what
that's when we
happened.
judge.
Yeah, that's it. That's
So
what
you
we
don't
judge.
need follow up? Come on.
I mean, if it's like a found bicycle on the side of the road,
Sure.
I
Yeah.
could
Right.
really care less about that. But if
Yeah.
it's like something like somebody was calling about something severe or something like that, and
Right.
there's no notes, I'm gonna be like, okay,
What
guess,
did you do?
guess I'm
Handled
never...
by officer is not a disposition for this.
What happened to the person?
Yeah.
Especially when I'm taking calls, I get, like, we take so many calls that, like,
Yeah.
2 hours later,
Yeah.
after the call's already complete, I'll be like, oh, yeah, what happened to
Yeah.
that? And then I'll have to search it up, and then, yeah, so we definitely like reading notes, especially when they're funny.
Yeah. I will sometimes put in funny notes and be like, come on, air this call. Or like, they give a funny description of a car or something, or like we had a color the other day of a vehicle involved in something, and I was like, oh, please air it. Because it's different, and it's...
What was it, like periwinkle blue or something like that?
I don't remember, but it was just something different that where I want to see if we will air it, and if you guys will be like, what did you say?
Can you guys tell when we're like in good moods versus bad moods? Because we can tell.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, totally. So
Yeah.
I work a lot with this
Yeah.
side of the week.
Yeah.
So if I'm on the other side of the week, I have no clue what's going on there because
Sure.
I'm like, I don't even know your
I don't know
voice.
who you are.
Same.
But yeah, so I definitely know a lot about how you guys are doing
Yeah.
over here.
That's so
I
cool.
only get to work with your shift every other week.
Right.
But, so the second half of the week, I know them, and they probably know me because you know, kind of joke on the radio or whatever a little
Mhm.
bit. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely tell.
I used to get in trouble during FTO for my radio tripping.
Oh no.
For being funny.
Sometimes. Just like a couple times, and then I cleaned it up, and then now I'm off probation, so.
And then you
And
do
then
whatever
I
you
just do.
want.
Yeah, and then
Whatever.
they don't pay attention. So
Yeah.
you can,
Yeah, I think you said something on the radio the other day, and we were like, did she really just say that? I don't know.
yeah.
What was it?
I don't remember. It was.
I don't know.
No, I think you.
I messed something up a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. I was trying to say something, and it just kept coming up. I couldn't get it, and it was like 5 o'clock. I'm like, oh my God.
You're like, I'm
It's
done.
time to go
I'm
home.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you were on tag 2 talking to somebody, and I think somebody was like, "Oh, I'll handle that instead of you," and you were like, "Oh, cool," or groovy, or something weird like that, some random word instead of copy.
Do you guys listen to Tac 2?
Oh yeah, we've got it
yeah,
turned
dang
up
it.
all the time.
Really? Yeah, we follow you, and you're like, can you go to Tech 2? I'm like, yes.
Especially-
we can.
We do that.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, what's happening
Right?
yeah. to there?
Yeah.
What's funny here?
Especially when it's like a major incident, and they're
Yeah.
like wanting to talk about something, because it's like sometimes they say something that like we probably should know, and
Right.
whoever's
Right.
doing that doesn't
Sure.
tell us.
Right.
So, yeah, we like to babysit you guys.
That's what I mean. You're like gods. You just keep watch.
Yeah, no. What else you got?
I think that's all I have right now. I'm probably gonna leave here and be like,
Dang
Well,
it.
You can email us.
Yeah, you know our personal emails. So
Yeah.
Here we are.
How2911@cityofloveland.org. We'll always take questions.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't get very many
Deal.
emails, so.
I feel that. Mary and Beard is the same way. We ask every episode. It's like my mom. My mom emails.
Cute.
Like, Mom, you can just call me.
Yeah. Text, anything.
Yeah.
Really, anything
Mhm.
besides an email, because then you get your hopes up and you're like, oh, great, something new. It's not.
It's never.
Oh, gosh. That's always the worst. So, wait, I want to go back and digress about what you said about how you can tell when we're in bad moods.
It's not bad.
Okay, that's good. That's what I'm worried about. It's like, I know there's times where, like, something happens, like if it's a call that I was taking, or like, obviously I don't know what you guys are seeing.
Yeah.
So I try not to take it personally when you guys are short with us.
Yeah. Right.
So I hope that it's like the other way around.
Absolutely.
Because I was just like, I try really hard to maintain like my same voice, but there are times where like I'll listen back and be like, ugh, that was not very good.
I wish like that we could come up and just like sit with you guys sometimes, and I wish you guys could come on like. I wish we were doing ride-alongs so you guys could come with us.
We're supposed to do that in our phase 3, whatever, of training for us, and you guys are supposed to do that. I feel like at the beginning, which that had stopped for some reason, so as soon as we open back up, you guys should just, especially
I would love that.
Newer people who don't have any experience, we'd love it.
Yeah, no, totally.
I ask Erin questions about dispatch all the time.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, feel free to ask us too.
Yeah.
Sammy's here, your side of the week. Call her up.
I think every officer should come up and listen. Even
I would love that.
Yeah. Yes. The more that I get into this job, the more questions that I have, not only about what I do, but like what the officers do. Because it's like situations change all the time. And I'm just like, I'm always thinking of like, well, what if that happened, or what if this, or like, what could I have done better to assist them during this weird call that was happening?
Yeah. So. Well, and all the time, Erin will tell us like, wow, why don't you just have dispatch do this, and I was like, I didn't even know you guys did that.
What is
I don't know. I'm just here Googling stuff. It's like, just have them do it. I don't know. There's like your job is so involved, it feels like, because you do fire also, and us, and LFRA.
EMS.
Not LFRA, EMS.
Yes.
I don't know. Tom's TV EMS.
Yes.
There we go. So many letters.
And birthed.
Yeah.
And birthed. Like, good. You have so much. And I feel like we have our car and our one computer. And I feel overwhelmed sometimes. And I'm like, I can't imagine how you guys do that.
8 screens.
I mean...
and phone calls.
Only
8.
That's wild. Yeah. So, I think that would be cool to be able to come up and just learn what you guys do and hang out, and because I mean we have to have this kind of relationship, right? We trust you guys a ton, and I know it probably sucks like sending us to stuff like yesterday.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would feel like, just sitting there and like knowing that people are going to certain things. That'd be terrifying. So
yeah, I think we're done. That's it.
We're done. And conclusion.
I don't know. What else do we have? Anything?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Everybody?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you want anybody to know anything about you and like this cool life that you live? Maybe you have like a different hobby on the side?
I play drums and I play the piano.
Oh.
And I have a garden that's failing right now because I can't figure out how to water my whole lawn. God. So that's my struggles right now.
But I'm alluding to anything else.
Oh, the podcast? Yes, I have a podcast with my best friend from high school.
Okay.
So we're both into like pretty much everybody else right now, true crime and scary stuff, and also craft beer because it's northern Colorado. So yeah, we have taken some breaks lately with COVID, and she's like a chicken farmer, so that has its own schedule.
Yeah, her stories are very interesting.
She's wild. We met in marching band in high school.
I love this so much. What did you play in marching band?
We were both on drumline, so we were kind of cool.
The drumline's the best.
Compared to... I'm sorry if you play anything else, but drumline's cooler. So
I can say that as well. I was a clarinet player. Drumline's the best. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so we met there, and then we both ended up in Loveland, both ended up in Fort Collins, and then both ended up in Loveland. And so, yeah, we have a podcast we try to do every week or every 2 weeks, but it's been a little bit hectic lately, so...
Yeah, we get that.
We have a new episode coming out. I'm almost done editing it on Bonnie and Clyde.
Ooh.
Ooh.
You know, what's your podcast name?
Erie and Beery.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Check out our podcast. It's really cool. I like it. I listen to it a lot. That's all I listen to is like true crime podcasts because I'm like everybody else in the world.
So
You can also listen to our podcast called How to 911.
Yes.
Or Erie and Berry.
10 out of 10 recommend both.
Yes.
Not biased at all.
Okay. Well, I think we're just going to end it now before we just keep talking randomly.
Never say no.
I know. Follow us on Facebook. What do you like on Facebook? I don't know what you do on Facebook, but you do one of those. At Loveland Emergency Communication Center. Follow us on Instagram at HowTo911Podcast. You can email us with that email address that Erica already gave earlier. I'm sorry.
She gave it to me.
Yeah, but it was recorded.
Oh.
Yeah, so everyone heard it.
Yeah.
I already forgot it. HowTo911 at cityofloveland.org. And then, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. New episode sometime eventually.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Know where you are, know your phone number, and tell us exactly what happened.
Please.
I hope it recorded the whole time. Yeah, it's good.
Sweet.
Yay.
Thank
you so
guys.
much.
Anytime.
So nice chatting with you.
Yeah.